Well, you know, the Tennessee game is kind of over and done with, but I think the things that, you know, we sort of tried to get out of that game was we have to be a team that plays for 60 minutes in the game. We can't play in spurts. We can't play up and down. We can't relax when we get ahead in the game. I mean, we got ahead in the game here 24-0 once and lost. All right, so players need to understand that we need to play for 60 minutes, and I think that, you know, especially when we play against these fastball teams and teams that want to go fast against us, that we need to practice better. You know, your practice tempo and what you do in practice has to match what you have to do in the game, all right, or you're not going to be in the kind of condition you need to be able to sustain the effort that you need to sustain. And we got to get more players all in so that we got more guys that can do their job. I mean, depth, you know, whether it's special teams depth or, you know, more guys contributing in a positive way when they get an opportunity to play is, you know, certainly going to be really, really important to, you know, our team down the road here. I mean, obviously, you know, guys get nicked up and other guys get opportunities, whether it happens in the game or it happens for a whole game or 2 games or whatever it is, and you got to be ready to go, and you can't just get ready to play if you think you're going to play, because lots of guys are going to get opportunities to play and they've got to get ready to play. You know, had a good practice today. You know, the guys that I would say Cam Robinson is probably going to be out for at least 2 weeks. We'll have to see how he responds, you know, after that. Brian Vogler and TJ Yeldon probably won't do a lot in practice this week. Both guys are just beat up and need a little time. And, you know, we're hoping that they'll be back and ready to start practicing again on Monday. Tyron Jones is suspended for now. Denzel Duvall was back for practice today, and we had several guys out there in black jerseys, but we kind of got out of practice what we wanted to get out of practice today, and we'll practice, you know, in pads, you know, Wednesday and Thursday this week, and give the players a long weekend off. So that's kind of, you know, where it's at. And I know the graduation rate came out, and we were 80% graduation rate. I think that's a really, really good feat, you know, for us. It speaks volumes of how successful we're being with one of the goals that we have, which is for players to develop a career off the field. That's the #1 goal and objective when they come to school here, is that they graduate. They got a lot more days ahead of them where they're not going to play football than when they are, regardless. And I think that's especially significant relative to the number of guys that we've had come out early for the draft, all of whom would have graduated on time or before if they would have stayed in school. So that's, you know, really a good number that we were able to hit. So, questions?
I have 2. The first, who will you look at to replace Cam? I know we saw Leon move there against Tennessee. We saw Austin there today. Are those two guys?
Well, you know, we have a couple options there. You know, we can Grant Hill and Shep, you know, both can play tackles and tackle, and you know, so whichever one plays right and whichever one plays left would be one option, and leave Leon where he is, or move Leon, play somebody else at guard. But I really do think that you know, Grant Hill, who played pretty well when he's had to play this year so far, is a guy that we'll give an opportunity to, at least in practice, and see how he does. And those 2 guys, you know, if it works out, those 2 guys will be the tackles.
And this one is not about your team, but I know you have your hands full with your team. But have you had a chance to watch Colorado State this year with Jim McElwain and the success they've had, and also D. Hart?
Well, you know, I did watch one game. I think it was a Colorado game early in the year, and D. Hart played fabulous in the game. You know, Mac's a great coach, did a great job for us, and he's obviously done a great job for them. And I don't get to watch their games much because of our games and, you know, all that type of stuff. But I always check the scores of all the guys. Jeff gives me the scores of all the guys after our games that have worked for us before and how they did that particular day, and we're really, really excited that Colorado State is having a great year, and D. Hart's doing well for them, and Jim McElwain is doing a fantastic job there.
I know Blake Sims has had a few more planned runs recently. What can you say about his production in the running game, and
Who are you talking about?
Blake Sims running the ball, more planned runs for him? How has that been working out for you, and how do you think that is moving forward?
We don't really have more planned runs for him. We have the same runs that we've had all year long. He doesn't pull the ball very often, you know, on the zone read, and when people start overplaying it, you know, he does. So none of those plays are really planned runs, they're reads.
I have two, and one is just, do you have any interest at all in the college football playoff committee announcing 4 teams today? Do you pay any attention at all?
I have no idea about any of that, and you know, to me, none of it matters. What does it matter? I mean, it only matters where you end up at the end. All right, so what matters to us is how we do in each and every game that we have to play, and we have 4 games left to play. And you know, if we could be successful in those games, maybe there's a chance that we would play in the SEC championship game as well. So none of it matters if we're not successful in our games. All right, so I don't even care, to be honest with you. Don't know and don't care, because it doesn't matter right now. It's really sort of, you know, it's great for fans, it's great for the media. You know, they can have an hour show on ESPN about, you know, who got ranked and who did this and what Lou Holtz thinks and, you know, what all that. But it really doesn't matter, because if you don't win the game, if you don't, I mean, it's, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that our team is recognized in some way of being a good team based on what they've accomplished to this point in the season. All right, I appreciate that. And I'm happy that we're in a conversation based on what our team has accomplished to this point. But the fact of the matter is, it really doesn't matter at all, because what matters is the games you play and how you play in the games and how much success that you can have in the games that you play. And just in my thought, we have 3 really, really good teams that we have to play in our league to finish the season that are all ranked very, very high.
And the other one, which is about the team, is Adam Griffith, is he in a psychological slump? Is there something physical, or is it just something you just let him kick his way out of?
No, Adam Griffin is doing fine. You know, you know, he's got a little bit of a physical problem that I'm not willing to talk about, that we've had to manage, which has affected his ability to kick, maybe in practice as much as he's used to. But you know, he's still hitting the ball well. He kicked off really well in the last game. I think he slipped on the extra point that he missed. But other than that, I thought he did, you know, really well in the game.
With Tyra Jones being suspended and also some of the other health issues at running back, are there any plans to sort of move anybody else there for depth or anything?
You know, you know, Nudi's going to play there some. You know, we still have Alti and Derrick Henry, so those are our 3 backs right now. If Tyron Jones does what he's supposed to do, maybe he'll be back, you know, sometime soon.
Just after this game, with the way Dobbs was able to run the ball, what kind of lessons did the defense learn from that, and how important is that going forward with some of these opponents like Mississippi State, Auburn, to have these mobile quarterbacks going forward?
Well, it really, you know, first of all, you know, what Tennessee did when Dobbs went in the game was nothing that we practiced. Okay, so when we play these other teams, we know what they're going to do, and we practice those plays. All right, so we had no idea the guy was going to play until Thursday night, and credit them for, you know, keeping it that way. We had no idea what they would do with him if he played, because last year he played and they didn't do some of those things. So they basically ran a combination of Auburn and Mississippi State's offense that we didn't practice for at all. So everything that we practiced for in the game, they didn't do. So our players really had to do a lot of adjusting in the game, and we probably could have done a better job of helping them adjust in the game. And so we all take responsibility for not being able to stop the quarterback runs, which we had not worked on. And those are plays that you really do have to work on. I mean, you really do. I mean, it's the extra runner in the game. You have to work on those. You have to call certain things, and we didn't do that. So it was really good planning on their part, and it was poor preparation on our part. But at the same time, you can't prepare for a ghost that you have no idea is going to happen. Now, we've seen the plays before, so our players were able to adapt a little bit in the game, but we have had more success than that. Some of these plays are plays that Ole Miss ran that they had no success with in the game, but we didn't practice them. And when our guys don't practice things and we don't do a good job of preparing them, it's tougher for them to play well in the game. So we take responsibility for that. I take responsibility for that. And it was a really good job on their part in terms of what they did when he came in the game.
It looked like Blake's cleanest game on the road. I wondered how pleased, or does it look like he's developing week by week, and how pleased are you with his progress?
Blake has played really well for us, but we've been a little bit, I call it sort of, I tell the team this, I says you can't have a basketball mentality and be a football player. You can't play in spurts. You can't be an NBA, we go on a 20-point run and then let the other team catch up, and it was 85-65, now it's 87-85. I mean, football you have to play for 60 minutes, and you can never let up in the game. And you have to focus and stay focused for 60 minutes in the game and play every game like that, especially when you're playing on the road, because you let the other team gain the momentum and come back on you and give them too many opportunities, which we did in this game. Turned the ball over twice in the last 12 minutes of the game when we could take the air out of it and there is no game, and gave them opportunities to get back in the game. So Blake has played well. We really keep striving for consistency. He's made a tremendous amount of plays for us. He's very instinctive, but most of the time when we have a bad play, it's self-inflicted. I mean, we're in the wrong formation, we didn't call the play right, or we didn't read things right. So those are things that are correctable, and we keep fixing, and we keep getting better at those things. But for us to be really good, we have to eliminate as many of those as possible.
In getting a guy like Denzel back and getting up to speed, how do you balance wanting to get that experience back in the game without kind of disrupting the good things that the guys in his place have been doing over the last couple of weeks?
Well, we want to play all players that can play winning football. So Denzel has played winning football for us. Some of the guys that took his place played winning football. So to me, it just adds to the depth, and it helps more guys to have to play and contribute in a positive way. And maybe they don't have to play quite as much, and maybe we can stay fresher. So, it's always a good thing to get, good players that to come back. And, I'm sure that we're going to have to work Denzel back into it. It's going to take him a while. He missed 3 or 4 weeks, and, we're going to have to rep him like we gave him 50% of the reps today, and maybe we'll give him 60% of the reps tomorrow. So, and see how he responds to the workload. But we're still, pleased and happy that the other guys got experience, and now they've been productive and confident, and they'll be able to play as well.